The following featured presentation is part of the Skywalking Network.
This isn't too bad. If adventure has a name, it would be episode 506 of Skywalking through Neverland.
It is one of the most intense and scary rides in the park.
I just learned who was the voice of Mara.
Oh, whenever we're in the parks with a big group, we're like, hey, you want to go on the Indiana Jones ride? Yeah, let's go on Indy.
I remember liking the ride quite a bit, but I didn't really have any context to who Indiana Jones was because I hadn't seen any of the movies.
The actual correct Indiana Jones hat that you buy at Disneyland. And I love it.
All right, ironically, mine says Star Tours.
We Indiana Jones fans could have a chance to ride the ride with Sallah himself.
Are you ready?
Welcome to Neverland.
Here we go.
A long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away.
To all who come to this happy place, welcome. Disneyland is your land.
When I first made Star Wars, everybody in Hollywood said, well, this is a movie Disney should have made.
You're more than just fans. You're family.
Best day ever!
Secrets lab.
It's about family, and that's what's so powerful about it.
Hey.
When you use a bird to write with, it's called tweeting.
When we visit the world of Disney, we never grow old. It's a Peter Pan, Never land that keeps us young in heart.
This is Jedi Master Obi-Wan Kenobi, and you are skywalking through Neverland. I have a good feeling about this.
Hey, Skywalkers! If you take away anything from this episode, it should be this. Never look into the eyes of Mara. Because if you do, big snakes will attack and you'll be thrown over lava. Never a good thing, so don't do it. But before you do that, if you want to, telling you not to, we want to welcome you back to
Skywalking through Neverland.
I am Richard Woloski, but now everyone please say hello to my sweetie wife Sarah, who just celebrated a birthday.
That's right. I'm another year older, and we had a witchy birthday, and it was fun.
But you look much younger.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. So Dad just shared some video from my 16th birthday party. It's like I'm a whole different person. It's so crazy.
You were still getting Star Wars gifts.
I was, of course. Yes.
So you were like the same person, just in this little tiny person.
Yeah. It was so funny. Skywalkers, we are your enthusiastic podcast destination for the many decades of your Star Wars, Disney, Marvel, and pop culture and Indiana Jones fandom. So imagine a big Wookiee hug from us and a little sprinkle of pixie dust for our family of Skywalkers. Now we are live on the Skywalking Through Neverland YouTube channel right now. Every week, we like to update you as to how many subscribers we have. Did we go up this week, Richard?
Why, yes, we did.
Oh.
Yes, we did. We have, hold on. We
good.
have 9,284.
Whoa! Did we go up another 15 or something?
You know what? I think we went up by 10, maybe.
Okay.
I want to say.
Well, still, that's good. We're closer to the 9,300 than the 9,200.
Yes.
So that's very, very exciting.
Yeah, and like we always say, we want to get to 10,000 by Comic-Con in July.
Yes.
I think we can do it. I think we can. We don't want to hold out until Rebel Scum in August.
No.
We're gonna gun for
July.
The end of July.
You know what? I just need to post a bunch of reels of Snow White.
Oh no! Oh no! Oh no!
Speaking of controversy.
Yeah, we're gonna go see that next week. So
we are.
We'll post a whole bunch of stuff. That's a good idea.
I'm looking forward to it, but I just saw that they are scaling back the red carpet for the actual premiere. They are not inviting outside media to interview Gal Gadot and what's her name?
Rachel Ziegler.
I'm
so glad I'm sitting down for
It'll
this.
only be in-house media.
What?
And just photographers.
What? Oh, my head is spinning. My head.
They don't want them to say anything.
Is going 360 again and again and again. Did not see this coming.
Yeah.
That is hilarious and sarcasm.
But I'm interested to see how the box office will be. I know many people are enthusiastic for Snow White, so they want to see this film. I know a lot of people, there's a lot of controversy going into it because of some of the comments, so we will see.
But we're going to have a Snow White discussion for our things we want to share on Monday, the Monday after it comes out. That is March the 24th.
Yes, and anyone is invited to come on. I think we will stream it live.
Yes.
But you can come on the show and talk with us.
Voice your opinions.
Yeah, absolutely.
So looking forward to that. Now, let's talk about conventions.
Okay.
It is convention season. So who here is going to WonderCon at the end of this month? Well,
this is in Anaheim Convention Center.
Yes, and we are hosting our Star Wars Trivia Game Night on Friday, March the 28th. And get this, it's at 9 p.m. It's at 9 p.m.
It's going to be a party.
That's why we're calling it Star Wars Trivia Game Night Party. This is going to be a huge party with special guest Leilani Shu, Tika the Jawa from Obi-Wan Kenobi, and also in The Mandalorian. She'll be there as our scorekeeper. She's always so much fun. Who else in the Sky Chat will be there? Julie.
Yep.
Julie Gildersleeve will be there at WonderCon.
Yay.
Yeah, she's part of the Skywalking crew, and she'll be helping out.
Absolutely.
And there's other panels coming up for other conventions, which we can't mention until April the 2nd.
Also, we do have to note that March 28th is a big day. Not only is it our trivia game night at WonderCon, but we will be at Disneyland all that day because that is the opening of Skywalking, of Season of the Force. Season of Skywalking.
I like that better.
I know. That is the opening of Season of the Force at Disneyland. There's going to be so much new Star Wars stuff, new Star Wars popcorn buckets, new everything. And so we will definitely have a meetup that day as well. So if you're going, make your reservations. Disneyland, March 28th.
So we'll go from there to WonderCon to the trivia party. Now, will there be prizes?
Of course there'll be prizes.
Lots and lots of prizes. We just have so much stuff right over here that we want to give away.
Oh, like that Jackson shirt, Richard?
Well, they ain't going nowhere. Not my Jackson shirt.
Okay.
All right, before you get carried away, let's tell everyone what is going on for this big episode.
In this episode, we are celebrating the 30th anniversary of the Disneyland attraction, Indiana Jones Adventure, Temple of the Forbidden Eye. Justin Smith, our friend and Indiana Jones aficionado, will join us to talk about riding the attraction with Sallah actor John Rhys-Davies. Then we go over each of the Indiana Jones attractions, including Hollywood Studios and Tokyo Disney Sea, and the upcoming Temple of the Feathered Serpent at Disney's Animal Kingdom. Lots to talk about and celebrate, and that's why we're dressed in our Indiana Jones finest and our fedoras.
Well, speaking of the finest, we got to tell you that we are being sponsored by Small World Vacations, and they are a diamond-level Disney vacation planner travel agency that can help you book your trip to a Disney park around the world, a Disney cruise, and the Universal Studios theme parks, like the new Epic Universe coming to Orlando, Florida, in just a few weeks now. Oh my goodness, we're using Small World Vacations for our trip in later on this year, and we cannot wait. And best of all, this service is free. What? Yep, free of charge. So head over there to smallworldvacations.com for a no obligation price quote and tell them Skywalking through Neverland sent you, and then crack a whip for Indiana Jones. I had to work that in somewhere. It was either that or hurl a burl.
I love Crack a Whip.
Okay.
We are recording this episode from Long Beach, California on March 11th, 2025. So, Richard, what happened today in Star Wars history?
Well, on this date, March the 11th in 1979, 46 years ago, the daily Star Wars newspaper comic strip debuts. This and the monthly classic Marvel Star Wars comics, this was our Disney Plus. The Sunday strips were 5 to 7 full-color panels, whereas the weekday strips, they were 2 to 3 black and white panels. So that's what we got instead of Disney Plus.
I
And
get it.
And we were happy with
You
that.
ate it up.
We sure
Absolutely.
did. Now, I got to confess something. During my paper route when I was 10 years old, I had paper route at this time. So I would find a paper that was going to someone who I knew wasn't going to read comics. Like there was an old gentleman down the street. I knew this guy would never read comics. So I would cut out the Star Wars strip every single day from his newspaper.
Oh, no.
And you know what? My theory was validated because he never said anything. And this is the kind of guy that would say something had he noticed, but never noticed.
So did you not get the paper?
No, we didn't get the paper. No.
Oh.
No, because we didn't have to because, well, we would read everybody else's and then go deliver them.
You're so weird.
So why get it when it's right there for us? Now, the series was written and drawn by Russ Manning. It was first distributed by the Los Angeles Times and debuted in 214 newspapers in the U.S. and Canada, including Newton, Massachusetts.
Nice.
That's where I was.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did breakdowns of some of these storylines from the newspaper strips, and those can be found on our website. Go to Skywalking through Neverland.com and just put in daily Star Wars strips. And yeah, Jonathan Marquand, my cousin, did breakdowns of some of these storylines.
And to this day, that's one of the most looked at, some of those strips are the most looked at pages on our website.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And the lunch boxes. Because I don't think a lot of people, cover this stuff.
That's very, very true.
That's why it's like a little niche thing.
Yeah, this very much was so. And I still have all of my original comic strips just cut out, and I gotta find those. I love these so much because once again, we didn't have Star Wars at the touch of a button like we do now. We had them in newspapers.
Nice.
All right, now let's get to the celebration of the Disneyland Indiana Jones attraction, Temple of the Forbidden Eye. There's the Eye of Mara right there. Don't look into it. Don't look into it. Don't look into
Where?
it. No.
Where?
Oh, now I'm looking into it. There's the Eye of Mara. There it is. There it is.
Now dare to cross forbidden boundaries to the ultimate adventure.
Come on!
It's more than a ride. It's real. Now your fears have a name. The Indiana Jones Adventure, new at Disneyland.
Disneyland's Indiana Jones attraction, Temple of the Forbidden Eye, just celebrated its 30th anniversary. Special guests were in attendance to celebrate the big day, along with our good friend, Justin Smith.
Being one of the biggest Indiana Jones fans we know, we invited Justin back with us to go over the history of all the Indiana Jones Disney Parks attractions and meeting these special guests.
Hey, Justin!
Hey, guys, how's it going?
I love it. You got your announcer voice on.
Yes, I love it. And
Wow.
the hey.
Yeah.
Good to have you back. You were on episode 472 when you were telling us all about your Indiana Jones San Francisco location breakdown. All those places you had went to, and we were experiencing
Very jealous.
Yeah, extreme FOMO.
Mm-hmm.
I was trying to use the word FOMO correctly.
Well, you have been to San Francisco.
Yeah,
We
just not
have.
on the Indiana Jones tour, which seemed awesome. But now your adventure continues, and you met some new friends last week at the 30th anniversary celebration. Yeah. So, who were these big guests, and tell us about that big day?
Well, last week was pretty insane. Let's start out that way. It actually started, in my mind, on Sunday, March 2nd, because that was Adventureland Day.
That's right.
And then you were saying, hey, this week is the 30th anniversary, and you were telling us all about it. Unfortunately, we couldn't make it was more of a fan celebration, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. So Disney didn't do a ton to celebrate the 30th anniversary of the ride. They did, as a matter of fact, release these two pins. So if you're a pin collector...
Oh, wow. So one of them, it looks like a snake with, it's gold snake. And is that the Eye of Mara between the two
these
snakes?
are the doors to the
Oh.
and they actually open up.
Oh my goodness.
They open up, and then
And then don't look in her eyes. Oh, okay, it's the Indiana Jones.
It's the logo.
Logo.
The logo, 30th anniversary. So so that's the Gates of Mara.
Beautiful.
This one anyone can buy. So I think if you can go to Disneyland like today, like they would still have these and buy them. This was a Magic Key holder exclusive. So you had to be a Magic Key holder to get this one, but this is actual Mara.
Ooh.
Oh, I'm not looking.
That's
looking.
beautiful.
Don't look into her eyes or his eyes.
Her. I think it's a her, right? Mara?
I think it's a him. It's a him. The deity is a him. I know. I always thought until we did the research on this, I thought Mara was a female.
Well, I'll just say, as someone who's talked to the Imagineers who've worked on the ride, they've had this exact same debate, and so it's sort of both kind of thing, you could say.
Well, when we break it down in just a little bit, you'll know why.
And Mara is a god, so.
Okay. All right. No. Okay. I'm gonna jump right to it.
Okay.
I just learned who was the voice of Mara.
Oh.
James Earl Jones.
You seek the treasure of Mara. Glittering gold. It is yours.
James Earl Jones was the voice of Mara. And his voice was temporarily replaced with new vocals by none other than Neil Patrick Harris. Because when you think James Earl Jones, you think, who could replace him? Doogie Howser.
I will lift the curtain of time.
And then James Earl Jones' voice was put back as Mara. I was this many years old until I knew that, so that's why I say Mara is a male.
Okay. Meredith has a comment here in the Sky Chat. Mara is like Loki. They choose their form.
Oh, okay.
I like that.
Okay.
Wow. And then, wow.
Except when Mara's talking to you in that James Earl Jones voice.
That is amazing.
Now, I wonder, now that Lucasfilm and Disney owns James Earl Jones' voice, can they change up Mara's dialogue? I wonder if that license will can transfer over to the Disney parks.
That's a good question.
They didn't do a ton for the anniversary. I guess a lot of the stuff they did was exclusively done for Club 33 of all places.
Okay.
So you had to be a member to get some of the real fancy stuff they were giving out. They were giving out like mugs. They were giving out, they had all sorts of fancy stuff.
Yeah, so when you say mug, they weren't giving them out. You could purchase them.
I was going to say,
correct?
they were giving them out.
Yes, you could give that. They were giving them out in exchange for money.
There you go. Oh, that's funny. Yeah, so you see this mug up here in the corner. This is Mara.
That's nice.
Isn't that neat?
Yeah.
And then I think, look, some pins here. And this jacket, which is the Indiana Jones leather jacket with a special insignia on it. I wonder what the back looks like. Were you able to see that, Justin?
No, I mean, of all the cool things that I got to do last week, going into Club 33 was not one of them. Okay. I mean, I wasn't ruling it out because, we had some really cool experiences and, we heard hush hush, maybe we could get into Club 33 talking to a member, but that did not happen. So.
Okay. But otherwise, and this is like the entrance to Club 33.
Correct. That was the big photo display. So. Yeah.
So they did do some things. They just didn't have like a big event that we went to. At the 20th anniversary? They had
25th
anniversary where they had Tony Baxter there, and a couple of the other Imagineers to help break down the ride and tell us behind the scenes secrets, which was really, really fun.
Yeah.
But is that Boulder setup? Is that still at Disneyland, or was that like a one-day thing?
I think it was a one-day thing.
Oh.
Oh, bummer. We missed it. This is in the Court of Angels there.
Right, in New Orleans.
Yes.
I've asked you this. Have you guys ever been to Club 33?
Yes, we have twice.
Times.
Yes.
Yeah, do not experience FOMO about this, okay?
Well, it's fun to go to once,
Yeah.
definitely. I think our first time was amazing. Our second time, not so much. So it just kind
Yeah.
of depends on your
When
experience.
The whole meal was preceded by the waiter saying, "I'm pulling a double shift. I am exhausted." So what can I get for you people? That's not the way to experience Club 33.
We're on a podcast, so I'm just putting it out there. I'm 33 now, so if anyone out there is listening and a member and can get me in, please contact me.
Aww.
Well,
all right,
the
you
next
heard it
time,
here first.
If we go again, we'll definitely be inviting you. Now, I get a question here. Did the name of the attraction go from Temple of the Forbidden Eye to Indiana Jones Adventure? The Temple of the Forbidden Eye? Are they doing what they did with Star Wars, where everything of Star Wars is now preceded with Star Wars, Galaxy's Edge, Star Wars, The Force Awakens?
Yeah, well, Indiana Jones Adventure is sort of just the go-to name that it's just easier to print it out on the maps and the logos and things like that. So Indiana Jones Adventure, but if you still go to the ride, it still has the sign Indiana Jones Adventure Temple of the Forbidden Eye. So, I mean, it works either way. I mean, the whole Disney adventure, I think it's just easier for branding, kind of like how they dropped the apostrophe S from Disney. So it's kind of one of those things.
Okay. Yeah, I feel like whenever we're in the parks with a big group, we're like, hey, you want to go on the Indiana Jones ride? Yeah, let's go on Indy. Let's go on Indy. You know, so everyone just shortens it.
I thought if anyone's going to know, it's going to be Justin.
Yeah. All right, so before we continue with your amazing day, Justin, for those who have never experienced the attraction, this is the summary of the story. And I never knew some of this, so listen up. In 1935 India, Indiana Jones reunites missing fragments of a map documenting the precise location of an ancient temple believed to have been buried in a flood over 2,000 years ago. According to legend, the temple was built to honor the deity Mara, who offers one of three gifts to all who come to the hallowed site: eternal youth, earthly riches, or visions of the future, on the condition that they never gaze into the eyes of Mara. Although the discovery, dubbed the Temple of the Forbidden Eye, sets the archaeological community abuzz, funding quickly runs out. So Sallah begins conducting guided tours to raise money so the excavation can continue. Good fortune comes to many tourists, while others do not return at all. Indiana Jones eventually ventures inside to find the missing tourists and uncovers the temple's power source, known as the Jewel of Power, which Abner Ravenwood believes is located within an immense cavern beyond the Gates of Doom. At the end, Indiana Jones and the tourists are almost crushed by a rolling boulder, and, surprise, everyone lives.
So, like Star Tours, I'll never be picked for Rebel Spy, and on this ride, I'll never be picked as one of those tourists who never return.
Well, that's because Indiana Jones went in and saved you all.
What about all the chambers? Have you gotten all chambers? You know, when you go through the very first to the gate, you know, the Chamber of Destiny, it gives you three possible versions of the ride. You could either get the Treasure of Mar, the ability to see the future, or the Fountain of Youth.
Okay, I want to know which is which.
Yeah, and I thought they any three of the doors you go into just go back into one railway anyway.
Yes, I mean, now when it first opened, the doors actually did move around, so you got to go into three different doors. I mean, technically, yes, it was all the same room, but
because the room moves, not the track.
Exactly.
The doors rotated. Since they've added LED projections and all of that, now the doors just stay the same, but with lighting and magic, you can still go through different versions of the ride. So basically, if you turn around when you go, the Mara says, "You seek the future, I will give the future time," or "You seek youth, timeless youth and beauty," or "You seek the treasure of Mara, glittering gold, it is yours." And yeah, you go through and they have different projections. One's yellow, one's blue, one's purple. And then, if you turn around like during the chamber, you'll get to see sort of, this room, which, through projections, you get different, it gives you the illusion of it images that matches the chamber that you've entered, the gift that you've received. So you get, just that little small thing gives you 3 different possible rides you could go through.
Wow.
Oh my God.
I know.
I did never notice that.
Next time we go, we'll have to invite Justin. Well,
Yeah.
So which door is which treasure?
Well, it rotates through each of them. So yeah, so when you go through the treasure of Mara, it's the glittering gold. So it's, all, you go through and it's all bright, and there's like these big, piles of gold with like a big Mara statue sort of like standing up. And then, the eternal youth, the timeless youth and beauty, like it gives you like a blue, like, there's like a little ripple effect, like it's a water. And if you turn, there's like paintings of like this old man drinking, youth. And then, the next one, he's a little bit younger. And then, the last page, he's young. And then when you go through the future, that it's all just like little it's space and stars, pretty much. It's the darkest one, but there's like a purple hint throughout.
So I feel like you always go through the middle door now.
Yeah.
Is that correct? Yeah, but it's just the effects that change.
Once they've added the projections effect, which was
Right.
about in 2015, that the doors don't rotate, but the effect is essentially the same.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So, Justin, let's go back to 1995. Or did you ride this in 1995? And what did you think when you first rode the attraction?
Well, I wasn't there opening day. I can tell you that. I wasn't there opening day. It's hard to pinpoint like the exact year I rode it, but I would guess it would probably be around 1996, which would have made me around 4 or 5.
Oh,
When you did first ride it, what did you think?
Well, it was a little, the build up is a little creepy because you go through the temple and all that, and they really do a great job making you feel like you're entering a cave, or like you're entering, you could like hear like, death around you. Like there's just this ominous tone. So it was a little creepy, I'm sure. And at that age, I'm just all about the Fantasyland rides, and it's a small world. So all that, all the dark rides, all of like Mr. Toad and whatnot. So it was a little scary, probably building up, but I went in that, and I remember liking the ride quite a bit, but I didn't really have any context to who Indiana Jones was because I hadn't seen any of the movies. So it was just, you were going around in a bunch of random rooms, and it was a fine ride. But yeah, I don't think it was my immediate favorite right then and there. It was just, another ride at Disneyland.
okay.
Justin Smith says it's a fine ride.
So now, as we're answering this question ourselves, those of you in the Sky Chat, we want to know, what are your first impressions or reactions to when you rode the Indiana Jones attraction? Any of them?
Well, Maria says, my first time was frightening.
LOL.
Ooh.
It is one of the most intense and scary rides in the park. It's up there with, I guess
Space
you could
Mountain.
say Haunted Mansion with the sort of creepiness.
I guess.
All right, Justin, right now you got this mood lighting going on.
Yeah, I think it's the computer probably.
Oh.
Yeah, get onto a page with a lot of light.
Yeah,
Go to sunrise.com if there is such a thing. We just want to see you.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Sarah,
Okay.
tell us when your first time that you went on the ride and what you thought.
Okay, my first time was 1999. This was my very first visit to Disneyland proper with my parents the day before I started college at USC. I wanted to make sure that we went to Disneyland. We entered the park and made a beeline for Adventureland and this very ride. It's our first thing we did. I was so excited. I loved the whole experience. And I remember most the queue because it was so detailed, and I wanted to really slow down the line and look around. I think at that point they didn't have fast passes, so you actually were waiting in the queue. And I just had a great time on the attraction. So much so that when we got off, we immediately went to that indie-themed gift shop right there in Adventureland and bought this very hat, which has the Indiana Jones pin on it, so you can tell that this is the actual correct Indiana Jones hat that you buy at Disneyland. And I love it.
All right. Ironically, mine says Star Tours.
Yeah, so that was my very first experience. And later, my college friends and I, we rode Indiana Jones ride quite a bit because it was part of our whole Disneyland workout program, where you start with the canoes, so you work out your arms, you walk up and down Tarzan's treehouse, so you work out your glutes, and then you walk the Indy queue and ride, because it's like a full half mile at that point. Like you have to go like all the way outside the park into that ride building and then back. And then we go to Innoventions and do Dance Dance Revolution, and it's like this Disneyland workout we came up with. It was pretty fun.
Disney, are you listening to this? Another great idea, a Disneyland workout.
It is. Yeah, and I just, because I've ridden so much, I've heard a lot of the different phrases that Indy says. Apparently, I have not heard the phrases that Mara says. But
you recall Mara saying, "The Force is with you, young Dr. Jones, but you're not a Jedi or archaeologist yet." You do remember that part,
that
right?
would be amazing.
That would be amazing.
That would.
I'm not making that up either.
But what I do remember, Indiana Jones, of course, speaks to you several times during the ride. And my favorite is at the end of the ride when he saved all of us. And he doesn't say it all the time, but occasionally you'll hear him say, "Don't tell me that wasn't big fun." It just cracks me up every single time. I loved it.
I don't recall him ever saying that.
We've been there a couple times when he said that, and I just cackle.
Okay.
So funny.
That'll play into something I want to bring up later on. But okay.
Yeah, he rotates between saying that and tourists. Why did it have to be tourists? And next time you're on your own, or next time do it blindfold. Okay.
Not bad for tourists. Now, stay out of trouble, will ya?
Justin, I'm so glad you're here to tell us these things. All right, Richard, what about your first experience?
My first experience, I believe I was there within the first month that it opened in 1995.
Now, were you 4 years old?
No, I was like 24 years old.
Nice, okay.
And I recall the line being 3 hours long.
Wow.
3 hours long for most people, not for me.
Oh.
Because the line went into a horseshoe, and I just could not stand in that line for 3 hours. So I made a beeline in the middle of the horseshoe. So I went to the other side of the line and saved myself 2 hours of downtime. And if anyone is listening who I had cut that day, I am sorry. I am very, very sorry that I cut you.
Well, since you guys both mentioned the line, let me ask you this. Did you ever get one of these?
Yes.
At the 25th anniversary.
Yeah, the hieroglyphic card that has like a legend on it where you can find letters within the queue and put
see
together
what they're saying.
This message.
Yeah.
Something about Ovaltine.
I remember, I know that when it opened in 1995, like you said, it was like the line was 3 hours, so they gave out plenty of these. So there was messages on the wall that are like in Marglyphics, so it gave you something to do it gave the guests something to do while they were waiting in line. And
yeah, I thought this was very, very unique, that the whole queue, and correct me if I'm wrong, this is the first time they had a very interactive queue, because they had this card where you can match up the letters and form a sentence.
You can pull the rope.
You can pull the rope. You can pull that beam that makes the ceiling drop.
That they've taken out since COVID.
Oh my goodness.
Sad.
Put it back. That was everyone in that line would fight over that to pull that pole. And if you saw it like 20 feet ahead of you, but no one else in the line knew what it was, you just waited until it was your turn to pull it. And when you pulled it, a loud rumble would come through this whole chamber, and the ceiling would drop, and people would freak out.
Yeah.
They would freak out, not knowing what was happening.
All right, but what else did you remember about your first experience?
That the queue was very, very long, but I loved the ride. I love the fact that it took Temple of Doom. I related this more to Temple of Doom. So you're going in these minecart jeeps, and you're going over these pits of lava and around these big things of big piles of skulls. I thought it was very, very way ahead of its time. It wasn't like a roller coaster where you just sat with the bar down and you're just going up and down. No, this had a whole big story around it, and going through every single turn, you would see something new and big and different. Whether that's the darts going past
you even got to do the dart room.
Yes,
That's
that always freaked me out. Now, I just wish there had been more that was inspired by the indie films, and I know they wanted to do a whole new adventure, but I kind of wanted to see more of Indiana Jones and more stuff that we knew. The big boulder at the very end worked once every 10 times.
Oh no!
Yeah, even in the very early days,
Oh.
I think that ratio is pretty high. Thing that worked once. I don't think I saw that boulder come down for like months afterwards. When people would say, "Oh, did you see the big boulder that almost crushes the Jeep in Indiana Jones?" Like, well, no, I saw Indy hanging there, but I didn't see the boulder. And one time I went, like, "Oh, there's the boulder everyone's talking about."
Wow.
Well, the ride does break down a lot. So there are a lot of effects. For the longest time, it was the most elaborate ride at Disneyland. I mean, I guess that, Rise of the Resistance finally took over that. But it's still one of the most advanced rides in the whole park. And it is very rare to ride it where every single effect just works and it's on its, everything is perfect. I mean, occasionally you'll go on that where everything works perfectly, but there's always like one little effect that goes, oh yeah, this could have, something was a little off with the bug projections or
or like the snake doesn't go down at you or something.
Yeah. I think it was like 2 years before I realized that big snake at the very beginning moved. So yeah, so a lot of bugs weren't worked out when I first went on it.
Oh.
Well, what about you, Sarah? Do you remember everything working out in 1999 or when you?
So I think I was just so overwhelmed with my first experience at Disneyland that I don't remember specifics of that particular day. But I do remember I always like to sit on the right side seat of the Jeep in the front because that's where the snake really comes down at you and you get a good thing. So I think that always worked for me. But I'm always noticing new things about the ride. Like, I think when they did that refurbishment last year was when they really upped the fire and the lava look down below.
That was in 2023, right?
Oh, is that when it was?
Yeah, 2023, they reopened it. And one of the effects they got rid of was the rat effect. Do you remember that?
Yeah. Yeah, what do they have now?
Right now, I guess you could say it's one of the spirits from the Chamber of Destiny. You get a little, like, when you go in the dark, it used to be just total darkness. Now there's like a little electricity, kind of like, one of the, that from the door that like Indy's closing and you get a little spark, da-da, and then, you see a little bit of that right as your engine stops, and then, you try to buffer, and then once it gets going, in place of the rat effect is now you see like a little room where you get to go, kind of like to see the room, and then you see sort of like a cave-in where like it all collapses, and then
it.
You go towards it's like, oh, we could go this way. Oh no, it's collapsing. Nope, and then you turn to the dart room.
And the rats, they ran by your feet, right?
No, it was
that was Honey, I Shrunk the Audience.
Oh,
yeah.
No,
the rats. It's like you went through this scrim that the rats were like on this scrim, right? And then the Jeep went through it, so it's almost like the rats would like come down on you.
Yeah, it was,
on your face.
It was sort of a holographic. It was a projection.
I have no memory of this, so I don't think it ever worked.
I really liked the rats.
It was probably the weakest effect, and. Yeah,
but we've got to give it the credit where credit is due. This like Rise of the Resistance has got so many parts to it that it's inevitable that something is going to break down in it. But just that big, like you were saying, that big room where they really pumped up the fiery effects. Just that one cavern alone is worth the price of admission.
Yeah,
that's always working.
Just turning the corner into the la la bum,
yeah.
la.
The soundtrack. Yeah,
it's really amazing, and the fire's going in the eye of the giant skull.
Yeah.
It's so cool.
Yeah, that whole main cavern is just
great.
breathtaking.
Yeah.
Now, Harrison Ford recently said on the Jimmy Kimmel Show that he still has not been on this attraction.
you know, there are 2 rides at Disneyland and Disney World based on your movies.
Yeah.
You're aware of that? Have you ridden those rides? Have you been on the
No,
Millennium
I've never
Falcon?
even seen him. I was wandering around looking for the Jimmy Kimmel live ride.
There is one.
You know what? There is none.
There, yeah. You're probably about to have your 3rd one.
And you think we're not compatible.
I know.
Come on.
I made a mistake. What are you going to do?
It wouldn't surprise me because how often does he go to Disneyland?
Right. And even if he did, I think he'd want to stay far from his particular the rides that where he's attached to, or it might just be because that lackluster Indiana Jones animatronic.
The last time he was there was when Galaxy's Edge opened.
That's true. That's
so
very,
he did
very
ride
true.
Smuggler's Run.
Yeah. Well, did we ever see him on the actual?
I think Trisha did.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Then there you go. But he has never been on this, and I wished he had more of an involvement in in this attraction. The animatronic. Oh, I've never thought this was worthy of an Indiana Jones attraction. It just fell so far below. The face was always very rubbery, and the dialogue never synced up to his mouth. And the dialogue was by someone named Dave Temple, who I looked online, and he has no other credits aside from this. And I recall the week that this ride came out, he put an ad in Variety and Hollywood Reporter saying, "Thank you, Lucasfilm, for this incredible opportunity. Let me know if you need anything else."
Oh, poor guy.
A few days before the attraction opened in 1995, Tony Baxter was still holding out hope that Harrison Ford would be involved.
And Tony Baxter is main Imagineer on the attraction.
But the contract negotiations fell through. And
with Harrison Ford.
Yeah, the talks fell apart because of creative differences, and he was going over money negotiations for the next Indiana Jones film. So this was a casualty of the contractual negotiations that were being held at that time, because right then the next Indiana Jones film was supposed to start shooting in 1996. And I came this close from working on that because I was working in the special effects industry, and some of my friends were like, "Hey, I think I just got a part on Indiana Jones." I said, "Here's my name." And I threw my name in the ring, but it didn't happen. 1996.
No.
That's the first time I'm hearing about this. That's neat.
Yeah.
You almost worked on what was then going to be called Indiana Jones and the Saucermen from Mars.
I wanted to work on that movie. Going back to what Indiana Jones was saying, the animatronic was saying before, he used to say, "Tourists, why do it have to be tourists?" And I've always had a shaky relationship with that line.
Oh, why?
Yeah, it's just like he's like blaming us for what just happened. Okay, at the end of the day, yes, we looked in the eyes of Mara and everything fell apart because of us. But now in this refurbished edition, he just says, "Stay out of trouble."
Well, doesn't he say different stuff?
That's just one of the phrases that he says. He still says the tourist line.
Does it? Okay. I've always just heard him say to the tourist, "Stay out of trouble. Tourist. Why do you have to be tourist?" I don't know why. It's very accusational.
I think because it calls back to snakes. It does.
Snakes. It does. I see why they have it there.
Yeah.
But, just maybe something personal I haven't worked through yet.
Right.
He also says, that wasn't so bad, was it? Again, you have to keep going on it again and again to hear every single thing he says.
Like Justin.
You know what?
Yes.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So guess what we're going later on tonight?
Yeah. Oh, there you go. All right. So we have a few of these already lined up, Justin, but do you know of any Easter eggs that are hidden in the queue or the ride?
Well, Indy does have one of my favorite hidden Mickeys.
Ooh, okay.
So if you go past the projection room where they have the pre-show with Sallah, you walk by Indiana Jones's office. And so if you look into the office, there's all sorts of cool little, a vintage radio, 1930s radio, and I think a 30s telephone. And there's also the map that's, that's really cool of like Mara. But one of the things, if you look on the table, is a vintage Life magazine from the 1930s, which actually has Mickey and Minnie Mouse on it.
Oh, that's so cute. That's amazing.
Justin, are you available tonight to go with us to Disneyland? Because you got to point out all this stuff. Now, my favorite is the Mercedes-Benz Troop Transport outside of the ride. The same one used in the desert chase scene in Raiders of the Lost Ark. It was like, what, 3 years ago before I learned that?
Yeah.
It's like, how did you guys get this? And it's now sitting out in the elements.
One of the first things you see, and they actually used it for like a number of movies, like and TV shows, but like Raiders was the most popular. And apparently, like, they were doing some, investigating, and they found like the actual Jeep, and they decided to, purchase it and display it in the queue line.
Is there a plaque that says this is the screen used truck?
No, it's mostly just for in the know for the fans. And, I think the way you could tell is that it's a Mercedes, but it's missing that little logo that he's, sort of snapped.
That's back in Cairo.
That's
I mean,
funny.
to be fair, when they found it, I think it was mostly, they had mostly repaired it like since then kind of thing, but they changed it to make it resemble like that truck when it, from Raiders as much as possible.
Oh, so Harrison Ford touched that truck.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
Oh.
Now, also, isn't there a Temple of Doom mine car somewhere in that area?
I don't know if it was actually in Temple of Doom, but there is like a minecart, I think, in the queue line.
I know there's one in the queue line. Maybe that's the one I read up on, but I read that it was a screen used mine car from Temple of Doom.
Is it the mine car where that pull rope is on?
That's what I thought, right? That's inside.
Yeah.
But what I read is that this mine car is by the truck outside.
Did you guys know, I mean, maybe you've heard this, maybe you not, but when they were developing the ride, we were going to get 2 Indiana Jones rides in there. We were going to get the Jeep ride that we go on, and we were going to get the mine cart.
Well, they
that's
combine them.
Definitely a blue sky thing. Like a mine car ride would make a heck of a lot of sense.
Yeah, so we could have gotten 2 Indiana Jones rides, and apparently Tony Baxter, the Imagineer, like even said at one point there's going to be a maze within the queue line itself. So, and of course at one point the Jungle Cruise was supposed to go through it, and the Disneyland Railroad, kind of like how it goes through Splash Mountain. It was supposed to go through Indiana Jones Adventure as well. But the budget had to get cut, and so it's weird because you don't necessarily think Indiana Jones Adventure like suffers from budget cuts, but they had really big
big plans, yeah.
Yeah.
There's also a crate in the queue that is marked with the number 9906753, which refers to the number on the crate holding the Ark of the Covenant in Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Oh.
Yeah, I have not seen this either.
Another crate is marked Deliver to Club Obi-Wan.
How did we never see that?
Okay, well, my favorite Easter egg, it's since been removed, but for a while when you visited the skeleton room, which is right as you round the corner as you go into the main big
in the
cavernous
queue or the
room.
Ride?
No, this is in the ride.
Okay.
When you enter the skeleton room, it's the very first room you enter after seeing the fire. It contained a skeleton on the very end. There was like a row of skeletons, and the one on the very end had a Mickey hat on it. And I have seen that 2 times, but I've looked since, and it's not there anymore.
Yeah, Bones is his name. It's like
right.
it actually inscripted on his mouse ears, Bones.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
But it's gone now.
They must have taken that out the same time they took out the Ark of the Covenant from Doc Ondar's Den of Antiquities.
Yeah.
I know about Bones, but I was never able to see him because, again, you go by so fast. But
you have to be on the left side of the car, and you have to just keep looking to the left, back almost behind you as your car is going to be able to see it.
So, yeah, if you, like, take him out of the ride, a lot of people wouldn't even notice kind of thing.
Yeah.
Right.
So, yeah.
All right, now before we move on to some of the Indiana Jones attractions around the world, Justin, we really want to hear about your experience at this 30th anniversary of Temple of the Forbidden Eye.
And the special guests.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, it started off that we have been very fortunate. We've been friendly with a Disney Imagineer. His name is Chuck Ballou. You may not know his name, but he did a lot of art for, plenty all throughout Disneyland, including Indiana Jones Adventure. Maybe the most biggest contribution is, remember these, that he actually invented hieroglyphics.
And this is the gentleman right there that we're looking at,
there
right?
He is, Chuck Ballou. Yeah,
Aw.
we've actually helped, organize a fan event to get him into the parks, because he is retired now. He no longer works at Disneyland, but when he did, he worked on a number of attractions throughout the park. He worked on Toontown, Buzz Lightyear, and Indiana Jones Adventure is the big one. So he invented hieroglyphics, and he designed a lot of the art that's found around. I think even one of the cars even has initials. If you look at the cars, there's like a bunch of numbers, and one of the cars says CB, which is a reference to his name. So
wow.
so like the Imagineers have like their initials throughout the ride and all that. But
And here's Chuck with another special guest.
that is Chuck, and that is John Rhys-Davies, aka the actor who played Sallah in 3 of the Indiana Jones movies, in Raiders of the Lost Ark, Indiana Jones: The Last Crusade, and Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. Yeah, so what started as a 12 little grew to be a 24 group of events. So we were all very excited, and we just said, yeah, we're going to get a special Lucasfilm guest, so please bring one thing for autograph, and, there'll be photos, but, like, don't overdo it. Just, like, he'll sign one thing to autograph, and and then after that, we were promised he would ride with us. He would go on the ride 3 times, so that we Indiana Jones fans could have a chance to ride the ride with Sallah himself.
That is amazing.
Like, let's go back to that picture right there. Let's go back to that one picture there. So what exactly is going on right here? He's touching your face.
You could say he's tickling my beard. I don't know if you know that much about John Rhys-Davies. He has done a number of conventions. If you're listening to this anywhere across the country, there's a good chance that there's a convention near you, and he does go to a lot of them. Even though I think lives somewhere, in the UK and Europe, he does actually come to the States a lot, and he does a lot of conventions, and a lot of people have reported that when they go for a photo op or they get a picture with him, he has a tendency to want to tickle your ear or tickle your beard, and that little moment, cracks people up. So
even in 2025.
John Rhys-Davies gets away with it.
Yeah,
I imagine so. So what are we looking at here? What are you having him sign?
Yeah, so I actually signed, this is a very rare thing. I bought it from Instagram. It was a profile called Sewer Collectibles. So SEWER. They don't really do a ton of like stuff as much anymore. I think the page is still up though. But I was able to purchase this, which is he made 13 VHS copies of the Indiana Jones opening special. So it included. So on it includes the making of Temple Forbidden Eye, which was the special they did with John Rhys-Davies and Karen Allen. They both star in it, as well as they had images from the grand opening of the day. It also includes the pre-show. So he took like the pre-show like on YouTube and put it on a VHS tape. The Eye on the Globe newsreels in the pre-show. He put that on there. And yeah, he put the grand opening ceremony. So yeah, this is a special, if you're a huge fan of the ride, this is kind of a cool little thing. He only made 13 of these. And, I thought, well, since Sallah is a pretty big part of the ride and, he is the host of that special, I got him and our Imagineer friend Chuck Ballou to both sign this.
Oh, wow.
That's awesome.
And here is Sallah on the actual ride. And where are you?
Are you in the back?
I'm right. Yeah, I'm third row.
Yeah.
How can I miss that big smile?
He ended up going on it 5 times.
Wow.
In just that one day. So yeah, he got to, one of the times I know someone gave him a flashlight and he just spent the ride like playing with the flashlight during the ride. There's some video of it. At least someone's posted a video of it now. But yeah, so he had a ton of fun. We all were like, oh my God, can you believe this is happening? We're riding the ride with Sallah. I was like filming like the ride and also try to include the back of his head. So I have some video of him. But yeah, there's even a funny video of like when we all come, because that picture you showed of me and the group, we were the first ones to get a ride with Sallah. So
Oh,
that was
lucky.
yeah, so I was in that first vehicle. And so there's also a little video of someone posted where we're coming back and we're all like, yeah, woo. And then, John Rhys-Davies, he's all smiling, but of course him being John Rhys-Davies, he likes to ham it up. So like when he was getting closer, he pretended like he would go, ooh, like he was sick.
Oh, no.
Well, he wasn't that bad if he went on it 4 more times after that.
So all those other people who are there waiting in line, were they like, can you guys speed this up? We want to go on the ride too. But this time give us Harrison Ford.
Yeah, well, it was mostly just our group of like 24 people in the California Jones. This is sort of our cosplay / fan group that we've put together. It's run by Indiana Jones fans. We do various meetups all throughout Southern California, and yeah, we sort of organized this. Yeah, there's a group of us right there. There's about, it grew from a group of 12 to a group of 24. There were also a couple of big YouTubers who were there. One guy named Justin Scard, and the other guy, Fresh Bake, also joined us. They're big YouTubers, so they were documenting this day because, they wanted some, really big people on YouTube to like cover this event, because it's not every day you get Sallah to ride Indiana Jones Adventure. And so yeah, so he got to ride with them as well, and some other people who were close to him, like like his agent was there, kind of thing. And so but yeah, he was happy to ride it 5 times. And what was amazing was that really before and after, he was posing photographs with like cast members who were coming up to him, like even just random guests who like noticed him, like realized who he was, like they wanted a quick photo. He was happy to stand. Like
Aw.
he was like spending so much time, like doing group photos. And yet like he even got to sign some stuff. Like someone brought a decoder card and got that signed. I saw one.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Wow.
When it comes to like celebrities, like in terms of like giving back and giving the fans a moment, he's one of the best. I mean, in fact, like this actually wasn't the very first time I met him. Like when I got to go to Orlando like last year, I swung by MegaCon, which he was at. That was like the first time I got to meet him. I bought like one of those professional photographs that you just go, and I don't know if you have much experience, but when you do a professional photograph with like a celebrity, it's a very click. It's like, okay, stand here, 1, 2, okay, you're done. Go next one. Like it's very an impersonal setting. Like yeah, you get a cool photo and it makes it look like you're best buddies, but really it's like a quick and you're done, like out in and out. But yeah, in this one I like brought the headpiece to the staff of Raw, so I brought that up, and he was like, "Ah," and he did the pose, like, "Oh," while I'm holding this, and then afterwards he just taps my shoulder and says, "Well done, Indy. Very well done."
Aww.
Like,
What more can you ask for?
Even in a very impersonal setting like that, he manages to give you that connection. Like he's just like,
well, that's
Mr.
great.
Personal.
I love when I hear about those stories from the
Yeah.
actors. That's fantastic. Now, whether this ride is working or not, it's still a huge must do whenever we go to Disneyland. But this wasn't the first Indiana Jones attraction at a Disney park. No, way back in 1989, Disney's Hollywood Studios got Indiana Jones Epic Stunt Spectacular.
Well, I first saw it in 2004. Yeah, I thought it was a very cool show. I mean, I was, I'm more of a Disneyland kid, so I've been as spoiled because of the ride, but the show is really, really cool. I really like that show. It's kind of, it opened back in 1989, back when it was called Disney MGM Studios.
Right.
And the whole idea was that the whole park, like the whole theme of it was you get to go behind the curtains and see how they make movies. And their idea was to like make a Hollywood of Florida, like Universal Studios, where you get to, it's a theme park really built upon a movie studio. The movie studio has really faded out as time goes on. But this show, the Indiana Jones Epic Stunt Spectacular, the whole idea of the show is that, yeah, you get to see these tour stunts, but you get to see like sort of the behind the scenes and really get to say, oh, this is how they make movies. And what's kind of cool about the show is that it's still there. It's like, it's one of the last sort of holdouts from the park of Disney MGM Studios back when it was sort of a movie studio wannabe. Like, now it's mostly just a theme park. But Indiana Jones Epic Stunt Spectacular has survived for 35, 36 years now.
Yeah, and it's still the same show, basically. I remember I saw this on a high school band trip, so it must have been like 98, something like that. And I just loved this show. And that evening, we used that very amphitheater. They gave out all of our band awards in that amphitheater. So I thought that was a really neat place to do that. But the show itself is just so impressive. I mean, it uses the very same airplane model that's used in Raiders of the Lost Ark. They kind of recreate that same scene in which Marion is stuck in the cockpit as the fire draws ever nearer, and Indy is fighting that bodybuilder Nazi. And it's just so cool to see this in action live. You can feel the fire on your face when the plane explodes, and then they explain how everything is done. I mean, you can't get much better than that. For those of us, I mean, we love behind the scenes stuff. You know our podcast, and you know that we love looking at all that behind the scenes. So it was just amazing.
I think the first time I saw it was in 2010 and was with you during one of these celebrations, the earlier celebrations. And I didn't know what to expect. And we see the beginning of the show where Indiana Jones comes out and his spikes are coming up from the floor and almost piercing him in every which way. He's being chased by this big boulder, and then cut to a couple of stagehands rolling the boulder back up the hill. And now they explain that, oh, this is a stunt show. We're going to explain to you and show you and demonstrate how stunts work. I thought, that's a cool twist.
Yeah.
I maybe would have preferred a straight Indiana Jones show. But this is something new and different, and I really appreciated it. Mm-hmm. And I love the exploding the plane in the very end, because they do go back into Raiders of the Lost Ark and show you that big stunt scene, except with not having Pat Roach's brain matter all over the propeller. Mm-hmm. Other than that, it was just very impressive.
Yeah, let's actually go to some comments here. So Maria says, I used to go all the time when I lived in Orlando, Florida. It's a phenomenal experience. Teresa had a similar experience as me. I saw it in 2000 at a band orchestra competition, and then they gave out awards in the theater. Same thing, Teresa. And then Chica Fent says, back in the day, the parentals were selected from the audience and participated as extras. Lucky. Yes, that is another thing that happens.
I went there twice just last year when I returned to Orlando. I was actually dressed as full indie gear, hoping that they would like be won over and like, hey, come in the show. But that didn't happen because they sort of got rid of that. But
yeah, they've gotten rid of that whole audience participation aspect.
Yeah, we saw like a number of times, and each time they would pick someone to like the left or right of us. In fact, once they picked out Dave from our group.
That's right.
Yeah, they said, oh, Rich, Rebel Spy? Nope. Indiana Jones stunt extra? Nope. Moving right along. Then in 2010, at that same celebration trip, during their last tour to Endor celebration, they had done a mashup of Star Wars and Raiders into Raiders of the Lost Jedi Temple of Doom.
Did they do like
They did
three shows
that one night. Yeah. So this once again took place during last tour to Endor, one of the best ticketed events we've ever been to. Mm-hmm. Now, the full name of the show was Raiders of the Lost Jedi Temple of Doom, a fan film of epic proportions. That sounds like a George Lucas title. And the description reads, "The worlds of Indiana Jones and Star Wars meet for the creation of the world's greatest fan film." Each show included several members pulled from the audience to serve as extras in the stunt show, primarily as townspeople of Tosche Station.
But they would select the voice actors.
Yes.
Like Ashley Eckstein was up there, Matt
during
Lanter.
our show, Matt Lanter,
But I think George Lucas, wasn't he?
I don't think
the
he went up
extras?
there. He was in the audience at one of the shows, but he didn't go up.
Yeah. But it was so fun to see them get to experience that and be members of the crew.
Yeah, it was funny when the host would say, "Okay, now you guys are extras," and Warwick Davis was like, No, I'm not an extra, I'm a star."
That was funny.
And the show was just, I love seeing that mashup. I love seeing crossovers and seeing Indiana Jones with R2 and 3PO and seeing Boba Fett in the show. I just loved it.
Since we're still in the same park, I did want to, of course, give a shout out to the very, very first Indiana Jones representation at Disney theme parks, which was the late Great Movie Ride, where you go through scenes from great moments from Hollywood history, and one of the scenes you used to go through was the Well of the Souls scene, where you see an animatronic Indiana Jones and an animatronic Sallah lifting the Ark from the Well of the Souls.
I wonder where those animatronics are right now. I think that one was much better than the one at Disneyland.
Aww.
Well, my guess is that they're being guarded by top men right now.
Who?
Wow.
Who, Justin?
Men.
All right.
They belong in a museum.
Yes. Well, over in Japan, a nearly identical version of the Temple of the Forbidden Eye opened as the Temple of the Crystal Skull in September of 2001 at Tokyo Disney Sea, and this is 7 years before Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull film.
Wow.
So in this attraction, Indiana Jones searches for the Fountain of Youth, and it takes him to a South American temple guarded by the temple's vengeful guardian spirit, the Crystal Skull. An original character named Paco hosts the pre-show, so not Sallah, where we have Sallah. Here, ride passengers accidentally wake up the Crystal Skull, and instead of looking into the eyes of Mara.
Now, they've got to have seen this to go, wait a minute, Crystal Skull, we like that. Let's do a Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
Possibly.
It feels like Crystal Skulls were always inevitable to be an Indiana Jones movie. It was just a matter of time.
I would have preferred Saucermen.
Well, in fact, I remember they even had a script for the Young Indiana Jones Chronicles that was supposed to cover Crystal Skulls, but Lucas himself sort of said, hold off on that episode, let's not do it, and we know why. Because he had big plans for that idea.
Right.
Oh, too bad. That could have been a good precursor to the Temple and to Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, a film which I really, really like.
I like it too. I like the 50s
film.
setting. Yeah.
I saw it 3 times in theaters, so I don't have anything bad to say about Crystal Skull.
Wait a minute, Justin. Just 3 times?
You mean in one afternoon,
not
right?
Not 52 times?
In 1 week?
3 times in its original theatrical run. I've seen it more since then, but in terms of 2008 when it came out, I saw it only 3 times. But back then, that was a lot for me.
That's true.
Yeah.
Okay, well, a new Indiana Jones attraction is coming. So in August of 2024, it was announced at D23 Expo that Temple of the Feathered Serpent will replace Dinosaur in Dinoland USA at Disney's Animal Kingdom. Of course, Dinoland USA is also going away. It's going to be like the South American section of Disney's Animal Kingdom. And this is going to feature an all-new story involving Indiana Jones hunting a mythical creature in a Mayan temple, hence the South American setting. So the dinosaur coaster has an almost identical ride system and track as Temple of the Forbidden Eye in Disneyland. And that attraction is set in India, not the tropical Americas like Temple of the Feathered Serpent. And construction has begun. It began last fall. It's expected to open in 2027, so it'll be here soon.
Awesome.
Oh, Maria says looking forward to it.
Can't wait.
I can't wait. Yes.
Oh, I'm loving this. So it begs the question, what is the Temple of the Feathered Serpent?
Like in the real world?
In the real world, yeah.
Oh.
Because all these are based on real world, like the Ark of the Covenant, the Holy Grail.
So actually, there is a historical basis. The Temple of the Feathered Serpent is notably, it's partly due to the discovery in the 1980s of more than 100 sacrificial victims buried beneath the structure. And the burials, like the structure, are dated between 150 and 200 AD. The temple was not only a religious center, but also a political center. Hence the dead bodies, I guess. I don't know. No, I'm just kidding. And the pyramid takes its name from representations of the Mesoamerican feathered serpent deity, which cover its sides. These are some of the earliest known representations of the feathered serpent.
Wow. So
it's
I love when they do that, when they, like, Young Indiana Jones Chronicles will take real world events
or
and
people.
roll them into into a fictionalized story.
Mm-hmm.
So what we're seeing here, this was one of the concept art pieces that we saw at D23.
Yeah, it looks like a temple. It almost reminds me of the Star Wars.
Oh, the Massassi Temple.
Thank you.
On Yavin 4.
Yeah, Yavin 4 Massassi Temple.
Yeah.
It's got that pyramidal structure. Well, this is some concept art. I think that's the feathered serpent right there. This green creature. It has like 4 arms almost that have feathers on the ends.
Yeah.
Right? That's what it looks like.
Yeah, here's the temple again, and here's the whole land.
Tropical Americas. Oh, and you see Moana's boat right there. Yeah. I'm not sure what we're looking at here.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see, like, even though the story is going to be very different pre-show, all that, are they still going to have the boulder? Are they going to have artifacts, or is it all going to be new? Because, I don't know, I want to be optimistic, but, a lot of these Disney rides, they, like, more recent ones, they aren't, they tend to, like, take the easy way out. And the track layout is literally the same ride as the one in California, so...
All right, Justin. Well, before we wrap things up here, that's a good question. If Disney came to you and said, Justin Smith, we want you to design the next Indiana Jones attraction, what would you want to do?
And it doesn't have to be that same track.
It can be anything.
Anything. Blue sky.
I would say we're not building an Indiana Jones ride. We're building an Indiana Jones land.
Oh.
We're building a whole park, Like, I would go crazy. Like, I would try to do what Tony wanted, which was an actual minecart ride in addition to that. And, there was even, like, plans, like, when the Young Indiana Jones was still on the air, to do a whole show. That was supposed to go in the Aladdin Oasis Theater. And, even though that show wasn't a huge hit, I would say, reboot it. Reboot the show and let's, like, have a show in there, or,
Okay, now, would you have a kiosk that would sell dates?
Yeah, this is dates.
Just make sure you don't get the bad
dates.
Yeah.
All right.
But I will say this. When I met John Rhys-Davies, I had to ask him what his favorite flavor of ice cream was, because one of my favorite lines in Dial of Destiny is his line, which is, "You can never have too much ice cream, can you?"
And what did he say?
His favorite ice cream was rum raisin.
Oh, well,
So
that goes good with dates, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, rum raisin, not a common flavor, and raisins are a little like dates, so maybe they can have some Sallah themed rum raisin.
All right, there you go. All right, Sarah. So the phone rings. It's Disney saying, Sarah, we're out of ideas. What do you want to see for an Indiana Jones experience?
First of all, send me some dates so I can snack on this while I think. Second of all, I do love the minecart ride idea. I mean, this is straight out of Temple of Doom. It's a minecart roller coaster. In the words of Willie Scott, played by Kate Capshaw, I'm right here. A minecart ride in a mine. You're flying over lava. You're trying to find Sankara stones. Along the way, you free some prisoners. Just recreate the movies in real life. That's all fans want. And I would love it if Indy were voiced by Harrison Ford. Please.
Well, you know what? There's not another Indiana Jones coming up, so there's no more contract negotiations.
Yes.
But maybe shrinking season 3 is going to get in the way. We don't know, but...
Better not. Well, his voice sounds a little different now, too.
Yeah, that's very, very true.
You know, since we're talking about cast members and all that, I remember back in the expo when they were doing all these announcements, one of the people who was there was Ki-Hugh Kwan, who played Short Round in Temple of Doom all those years ago. And, you know, there was some speculation like, oh, why is he here? Could he have something to do with the Indiana Jones ride? I don't know, like, if they can make that work, but, you know, I love that guy, and I would love to see him, you know, be involved in some way. So
even though he's hot right now, I'm sure he would say, you know what, I don't want any money. You know, I'm giving back to the Indiana Jones community.
Oh,
now,
he loves his fans.
Now, like you, I want to see Indiana Jones in my Indiana Jones ride and the best of. I want to see a ride that it's just like Star Tours. We can go in and out of different locations. I want to see the best of the Indiana Jones films. I want to see more rolling boulders. They're chasing the mine car or the Jeep, whatever you're in. I want to be chased by that big boulder.
Like Maria says here, please keep the boulder.
Yeah, yeah, I have to keep the boulder. I want to see exploding trains. I want to see human sacrifices, dogs and cats living together. I want to see mass hysteria. And I want to see maybe at some point they'll tell us in this attraction that I'm conceiving right now, they'll tell us how the Mads Mikkelsen character survived at the beginning of Dial of Destiny after he was hit off the train. How does he have a head left? I don't know, but maybe this new attraction can answer that.
I love that, and I hope I would love to see Marion on an attraction.
I want to see Marion and Willie Scott.
Yeah, well, I don't know if I want to see that, but I also thought
I would love to go to Club Obi-Wan. I would love to.
That would be great.
I mean, that would be if they can build the ballroom scene from Beauty and the Beast and make that a restaurant. Where's our Club Obi-Wan?
Absolutely.
You know what? We're gonna land right
That's
here.
Amazing.
Okay, we gotta wrap this up because we're gonna call Disney when we're at Disney tonight. We're gonna knock at the door and say, "Give us management. We have some ideas." Justin, thank you so much for joining us and sharing your incredible day with Sallah.
Yay!
Thank you for having me. I could talk about Indiana Jones all night, but I'll take an hour and 15 minutes. That's great too.
All right. Well, where can our Skywalkers find you on social media if they haven't already?
JJ Smith Entertainment is my Instagram. I have a number of YouTube videos. If you want to go to YouTube, I believe I'm JJ Smith Media. So you could look me up on Instagram or YouTube. Those are the big ones.
Excellent.
All right. We got to wrap it up by saying, give him hell, Justin Smith.
Give him hell, Indiana Jones.
Give him hell, Indiana Jones.
That wraps up episode 506 of Skywalking Through Neverland. We want to thank Justin Smith and all of you Skywalkers who listen every week, who chime in, who comment. We love that. And please subscribe to our YouTube channel if you haven't already and turn on the notifications. Simply search YouTube for Skywalking Through Neverland. You can also find us on all socials at Skywalking Pod.
Now, do you have things that you want to share? Well, we do. So every Monday at 6 p.m. Pacific time, we do our live Things We Want to Share show on YouTube, where we have Skywalkers come on. If they have something new they want to add to their collection or something that they had just gotten at a convention somewhere, something that they want to share, a book they had just written, they come on, they share. We share things. Last Monday, we shared all of the Sarah birthday highlights, had some Sarah trivia. Everything we want to share comes with pop culture or Star Wars or Sarah trivia. Lots and lots of fun. And once again, on March 24th, we're going to do a discussion on Snow White and the Digital Creatures. Is that what it's called?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Yes. Are you interested in our books? Autographed copies of Today in Star Wars History, parts 1 and 2, plus Skywalking Through My Fandom, the interactive notebook, are available now from skywalkingthrough.neverland.com/book. That is the only place you can get hardcover copies of said books and autographed for free. Would you like to support Skywalking through Neverland? Well, you can support us through the Skywalking Force, which is our Patreon. And the Skywalking Force has access to bonus content in the form of our StreamYard discussions on past Disney Plus shows and movies, such as the upcoming Snow White and Skeleton Crew, all of those. You'll also get a coupon code to use for our books. This bonus content begins at only $5 a month, so head to skywalkingforce.com, have a look at the options, and become one of 46 strong Skywalking Force members.
Wow.
I know.
We want to thank our sponsor once again, Small World Vacations, for their continued support. Thinking of a trip to a Disney park, a Disney cruise, or the Universal Studios theme parks? Oh, we are. You can fill out a Get a Quote form at smallworldvacations.com today. Their vacation planning service is free of charge, so check it out and tell them Skywalking through Neverland sent you. And then, Sarah, crack the whip. And then hurl a burl. I will never. That was 2 weeks ago.
Last week.
Never tire of saying that. Now, we are part of the Skywalking Network.
Skynet.
Where you can find other great shows like Talking Apes,
Star Warsologies,
the Max Effects Podcast,
the Neverland Clubhouse,
Totally Tell Me Everything,
and the YouTube shows Collectopolis and
Today in Star Wars History.
Julie got it. Skynet.
Now, don't forget to stick around for bloopers and other fun bits that didn't make it into the show. And
always remember,
never look into the eyes of Mara, whether it be a female or a male.
And don't tell me that wasn't big fun.
Tourists. Why'd it have to be tourists?
And
Neverland on Alderaan.
Look at how cute you are.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Indy. Here we go. You have to clap.
Okay. No.
I'm going to say it different now.
Nope. Then I ain't doing it.
Clappy clap.
Okay,
Why do it
there we
have to
go.
be clappy claps? This is what I'm saying. You look like a young Harrison Ford.
All right. Hold on. Then I gotta.
This is why I'm with him.
I gotta scar my chin. Hold on.
Oh, no. Stop. Ow! Oh! You got my finger.
That should have been my chin.
Oh, man. That wraps.
I thought we had something else, but we didn't. My bad.
Wow, it's like we planned that.
I
That
know.
was nice.
It's like we've been doing it for 11 years. Hey, look at those names to the left. They are part of the Skywalking Force, our Patreon.
Become a producer yourself and check out all the Disney Plus themed bonus content available depending on the level you subscribe.
Become a member of the elite Skywalking Force at skywalkingforce.com.